Hey, it's Bradley Long here, and I'm the founder of Shoptimize, and today I want to talk to you about how to craft the best Shopify product page on the web, okay? So from top to bottom, I'm just going to talk you through this. So straight off, we've got a top bar here, sometimes known as a hello bar, and you want to use this area to promote things like your free shipping threshold or any special offers that you've got on that apply site-wide. It's a great area just for drawing people's attention, because you remember the header area of the site is something people see consistently throughout their journey, okay? So it's a really good area to promote things that you want to raise attention to. And then also in this top bar up here, we've got what I call your admin navigation, okay? So it's not your money links. Down here are your money links, which is where you're driving people through to your product pages and your collections, okay? But up here will be things like about us, track your order, contact us, that sort of thing. And we've also got a hover over cart icon here, so then people can see what they've got in their cart when they hover over it, okay? Then we've got your logo, and immediately underneath that you've got a compelling strapline, okay? A lot of people don't do this, and it's a wasted opportunity to tell people why they should buy from you above and beyond anyone else. So if you're in a particularly competitive market, then you need to use your strapline here to convey your value proposition. I'll get into that in a minute and how to craft your value proposition, but don't waste the opportunity of having that in your header, because it's really, really important. Okay, and then over in the center here, we've got the search bar. Now, 10 to 12% of e-commerce site navigation is done via the search. Okay, so if you're hiding this behind an icon or you haven't got it in your header area, you are missing out on revenue, because people that interact with this tend to convert between 5 and 6 times better than people that just try and find their way through your regular navigation, okay? So make sure your search bar is really prominent. And you see we've got it here and down the bottom as well, so that when people scroll all the way to the bottom of the page and they haven't found what they're looking for, we've got another opportunity for them to engage with this site search. Really, really important. Another little trick here is also, instead of just saying something like search for ... preempt what they might search for, okay? And this is again another opportunity to maybe promote the benefits of your products if you've got a single type product rather than like a multi-niche store. So it could be like, find awesome fishing gear, for example. All right, so use that space wisely and try and prompt people to use the search, because it will reward you with higher conversion rates, okay? Now over to the right here, we've got a question, call us, 1-800 blah blah blah, whatever your number is there, and then your opening hours 9 till 6, 7 days a week, or 9 till 6 Eastern, whatever it is. But the really important point here is trust is a huge part of e-commerce, and if you haven't got a phone number and people can't see how to get in touch with you, they're not going to likely buy from you, because they want to know whether they can get in touch with you post-purchase if there's a problem, okay? So even if they don't ring you in order to place their order or ask a question about their order, the mere presence of having a phone number will increase your conversions, because it's a trust factor, okay? So put it in your header. Don't bury it in your contact us page, all right? And if you really, really don't want to have a phone number for whatever reason, then handle that objection. Say, where's our phone number, ? And then have a tooltip or something like that. Say, in order to bring you the lowest possible prices, we don't operate a call center. We do all our support via email to keep our overheads down, and we pass those savings on to you. So you're making it a benefit for the customer, the fact that you're harder to get hold of, all right? But you have to handle the objection, because they may have a false belief thinking this company's not credible, when actually you're a credible company. You've just decided that to keep your overheads down, you're not going to have a phone number, all right? So really, really important. You've got to be thinking about your customer's mindset and their mental shopping list. So what is it that they need checked off in their minds about your business and your product and your service before they're going to part with their hard-earned cash, okay? Right, so moving on. Here, you can't see it in the mock-up here, but we always recommend having a mega menu. If you've got a store with lots and lots of products, put it in a main menu rather than drop-down lists, okay? It makes the navigation much easier, and the more you can drive people through to your product pages, the more likely you are to convert, okay? So moving down, we've got the breadcrumbs, which is just really, again, for navigation. And then underneath that, we've got a nice big image of the product, okay? And obviously you want to zoom on that so people can see the detail. And then underneath that, we've got different variant images, or you want to use these images to showcase your product in use, okay? So if you can demonstrate the benefits of owning the product, then people will be able to see themselves owning it, okay? Another little trick here is if you can use models or people that are using the product that are very similar in age and demographic to your typical customer, then again, they're going to be able to see themselves using and owning the product more easily, okay? Another thing to do here is where you can use video. You know, everyone knows Zappos, that nearly every pair of shoes on their website has a video with it because people want to see the detail and see the different angles of the product and give it a more touchy-feely kind of experience because they can see the product in more detail through video, okay? So if you've got them available or you can make them inexpensively, that will raise your conversions, okay? So he says here, like 64 to 85% more likely to buy once they've viewed a video on your product, all right? So make sure you're doing that. Okay, so moving across, we've got a nice, compelling, keyword-rich product title, okay? So don't just copy and paste what your suppliers, especially if you're buying from like AliExpress or whatever, don't just copy and paste their title. Come up with something that is A, going to help you get found on the search engines, and B, is compelling, you know, make it, sell it. You've got to sell the product, all right? And then underneath, we've got reviews. Again, social proof is the second most influential factor when it comes to e-commerce conversions, based on 6,700 split tests analysed by Qubit, who are a split testing platform. Okay, so not to be ignored, you need to make sure your reviews are really prominent. Then underneath that, we're leveraging a bit of price psychology here. Okay, so we've got the previous price, $29.99, okay, and then the price they buy at is $23.99. But what you'll notice here is that this is a slightly smaller font, okay? Because psychologically, not only is the price different, but the physical size of the font is different too. So it implies a saving, and it's just another little trick that's going to help boost your conversions that a notch higher, okay? Then underneath that, you've got some main benefits of the product. So it doesn't have to necessarily just be the product. You can say like, you know, free shipping when you spend over $50 or whatever it is, but things you want to draw people's attention to. Okay, so key benefits. Then underneath that, you've got your variant options. So again, just make it clear as day what people need to do and what their options are. Okay, if you're trying to be clever and burying your options underneath like cascading menus and stuff like that, you're just going to destroy your conversions, okay? So lay it out nice and simply. Then under that, if it's applicable to your products, try and offer personalization or customization of your products, okay? Tons of the big brands are doing this now. You can buy jewelry with your name engraved on it, or your boyfriend, girlfriend's name, whatever it is. Let people do that. So it basically increases your conversions because people can, again, make it more of an individual gift, and they just love it, all right? So just, if you can, do it. So moving on. Now, you've got your add to cart button. Now here, there's a big myth going around, like big orange buttons convert best. It's absolute BS. It's nothing to do with that. Testing has proven that it's how much it contrasts to your page, okay? Now I know in the mock-up here I've made it orange, but it doesn't matter what color it is, it's whether people's eyes are drawn to it. So if the rest of your site's got kind of like a bluey feel to it or whatever, then an orange button is going to work because it contrasts the page. But if the whole of your site's orange, it doesn't stand out so well. So the important thing is contrast, okay? Now, your call to action here, you want to test that as well, because buy now or I deserve this might work better than add to cart for your market. So it's an easy test you can do using something like Google Optimize, all right? Then underneath that, you want your reassurance as to how they can pay, all right? So these are all trust symbols. We've got the ways that they can pay and also the Shopify Secure here, all right? So it's just to add that layer of trust and reassurance to people. Okay, nice, clear ways of increasing the quantity as well. All right, and now we get into what I consider to be two of the core levers in terms of how you're going to drive up your conversions, okay? One is scarcity and the other is urgency, okay? So Scarcity is proven from analysing these 6,700 split tests that Qubit did. They prove that scarcity is the most influential factor in e-commerce conversions, okay? So show how much stock you've got remaining, okay? Really easy to do, okay? And what you also could do is show a counter of how many people are viewing the product right now. So it gives that sense of like, oh, someone else might buy this before me, okay? So if you can introduce that element of scarcity, then you're going to be onto a winner. The other thing you can do is induce urgency. So if you've got a same day shipping deadline, for example, like 3 p.m. Eastern, if they order before then, you'll ship it the same day. Tell people, all right? So order in the next 3 hours, 27 minutes and get it by Tuesday, whatever the date is, all right? So that's easy enough to do. You can either use an app or our Shoptimize theme has this as a built-in feature. You can also add urgency if you've got a deal or a sale that's ending in a few days or hours or whatever. Have a countdown timer. Again, it's a sense of urgency and will induce people to take action now rather than later, because on the web it's all too easy just to think, oh, I'll come back to that later. I haven't got my card to hand right now. And then underneath that, you've got your value proposition. Now, I mentioned this earlier up here when I was talking about the strap line. This is the difference that makes the difference in terms of why people should buy from you and not anybody else, okay? Again, I was saying it's all too easy for people to think I'll come back to that later, or they can just go back to Google and find a cheaper alternative to you. So why should someone buy from you rather than anyone else, okay? You really need to get this nailed, because it's going to underpin everything you do in your ads and how you move forward as a business, okay? So the examples we've got here are like free shipping on everything, easy returns, both, free shipping both ways, that sort of thing. Or it could be like, the web's biggest selection of whatever you sell, or family-run business, veteran-owned, anything like that that can be a point of difference that potentially is a benefit to the consumer. Craft your value proposition around that, okay? And it will pay dividends for you. Now, moving down to the description section, okay? Really, really important thing here that most people kind of just cut corners on, and that is they'll get a supplier, it doesn't matter if they're Chinese or US-based wholesalers or whatever, and they'll just copy and paste the description straight from their website onto their own, okay? And that is just a recipe for failure, because usually those descriptions are very feature-based and not benefit-based, and the English isn't always great, and you're just going to be the same as everyone else. Now, Jay Peterman is probably the best example of any e-commerce descriptions in terms of copywriting. So go and check out them, jpeterman.com, or go and get hold of one of their old catalogues on eBay, because their product descriptions tell a story. They're romantic, they evoke emotions, okay? And you want to own the product by the time you've read it, because it gives you that sense of you're buying a story as opposed to buying a commodity, all right? So obviously not everyone's going to have those copywriting skills all the time to do it, but as a bare minimum, you're going to want to have a benefit-driven title, okay? Then you're going to have some bullet points to highlight the main features and the benefits of your product, okay? Most generic product descriptions just focus on features, so it's like, this product comes in blue, green, and red, or let's use a car as an example. So, okay, the Ford Mustang has got a 4-litre V8 engine, okay? That is a feature. The benefit of that is that you can smoke everyone at the traffic lights, and ultimately the emotional benefit is status and pride, or one-upmanship. You want to try and tap into those benefits, okay, or those emotions, if you can, in your copywriting, and it will pay dividends for you again, because you're A, different, and B, you're doing a better job of salesmanship, and that's fundamentally what this is, okay? So we're structuring these in a way that can be skim-read as well, because again, people's attention deficit disorder on the web is pretty extreme nowadays. So you just want a description that talks about the benefits of ownership, and why you should have this product in your life, okay? So people can see themselves owning it and using it. And then mention your value propositions to tie into this, and your guarantee and returns policy. A massive question that a lot of people try and hide from answering is the guarantee and returns policy. The longer your guarantee, the more money you will make. Okay, if you take all the risk off of your prospect's shoulders and put it firmly on yours, you will reap the benefits. I know that sounds counterintuitive and people feel like they're going to get ripped off by customers using stuff and returning it. But if you put in a 365-day guarantee, then people will feel really comfortable buying from you because there's no rush for them to return it to you. Okay, and actually what happens is apathy kicks in and they think, oh, I've got ages to return that, I won't do it, even if they do want to send it back, and then they forget all about it. So it actually works in your favour. So have a look at Zappos.com again. There's a reason why they have a 365-day returns policy, because they know it increases their conversions. And then after you've done that, is have a call to action. So either repeat your button again or just tell people what to do. Okay, it's as simple as that. So they've read this. You don't want to rely on them having to think about scrolling back up. You could just have another button in here, or just say click the add to cart button. You tell people what to do. Then these other tabs here, you might need a specification one or a sizing chart. I'd also recommend having a sizing chart linking up here as well if you're selling apparel, that sort of thing, because there's a big question that comes up, is this going to fit? But if it's a more technical product, you could have a specification tab, or you can omit that. Have a delivery and returns tab again, so people can easily find that information, because they won't buy from you until they've had that answered. Okay. You could also have a why buy from us tab. So again, that's just reinforcing your value proposition. So you can just go into a bit more detail about that. And then a reviews tab, okay? Because people will check out your social proof. And as I said earlier, it's the second most important factor on any e-commerce store in terms of conversions. Okay. So you also want to take the opportunity to cross-sell other products to your visitors, okay? So you want to have a related product section so they can see other things that complement the product that they're already looking at. And you also want to have recently viewed, because if they're surfing around the site, they might have forgotten what they looked at, can't remember how to get back there from the navigation. So just make sure this auto-populates as they move through your store, okay? And then finally, the footer section. Obviously, this is a site-wide factor, but we need to talk about this because, again, it really plays in conversion. People look at this stuff. One of the main things they look for is your About Us page. Okay, they want to know your story. They want to know that you're a bona fide business. All right, so do not skip having an About Us page on your site, and make sure people can link to it. Okay, but also in here, we've reinforced the guarantee. Okay, unhappy with your product, we'll take it back. 365 days to return your product. Okay, we've pulled it out rather than burying it somewhere behind a link. We've put it as part of the footer so that people see it site-wide. Okay. We then added more reassurance, showing again the credit cards that they can use to pay, and PayPal, all that good stuff. And then again here we've got newsletter opt-in. Okay, you want to be building a list, so if people don't purchase from you on first visit, which many don't with e-commerce, that's why we need retargeting. Try and capture their email address if you can, and sell the opt-in. Don't just say join our newsletter. Tell them what the benefit of joining a newsletter would be. Would it be exclusive discounts, being the first to know about cool new things, okay? Because people like being the first to know. It plays into their kind of status, human emotion, core human emotions, greed, status, fear, all those things that motivate people to buy, okay? And then the call to action on it doesn't just say submit, it says count me in, again. So we're trying to get people to take action and compel them to do it. Then, like I mentioned earlier, we've got the search, site search again, and then just some quick links to things like your privacy policy, FAQs is a good one for people if they're unsure about buying from you. Okay, and we've repeated the phone number down here again as well. Okay, again, people might have scrolled all the way to the bottom, not seen it, noticed it at the top. Have it down the bottom as well. Okay, now there's a lot of elements there, but don't fall into the trap of trying to be like Amazon. I see so many people doing this with their stores. I think, right, Amazon's the best e-commerce store in the world. I'm just going to do what they do. But what you've got to remember is they already have the trust in place. Okay, they've been around donkey's years. People know them. They've had their credit cards on file with them for years. They don't need to overcome that hurdle. Whereas people that come to your site, it's likely the first time that they visited. So you've got to build that trust. Okay. The other thing with Amazon is their pages are really busy and cluttered. Okay, you can't afford to do that because people aren't familiar with the layout of your web pages in the same way that they are with Amazon. Amazon have incrementally built up those iterations to their web design over literally decades now, and people have got used to it in small bite-sized chunks. If you go and present someone with a page like Amazon's on their very first visit, they're just going to get overwhelmed and leave because there's too much clutter, too many call to actions. It's like, do I buy this, or do I go and look at these frequently bought together, or do I go and look at the Amazon Echo? There's just so much going on that you're just going to overwhelm people. Amazon can get away with it, you cannot. I'm pretty sure of that, okay? So make sure you're doing this stuff to increase your conversions, but the point here is test everything, okay? Google Optimize is a free split testing platform you can plug in now. It shows you really clear reports in your Google Analytics showing how the test is performing, and just test elements. But don't just do stupid things like button colors, okay? Be strategic about this and understand what it is that's preventing your visitors from buying, because the likelihood is you've probably not answered some of the questions on their mental shopping list, like I spoke about earlier. They will have a list inside their head of like, right, can I trust this store? Is it safe to leave my credit card information with them? What happens if I have a problem with my order? Can I get in touch with them easily if I have a problem? All these things need to be checked off in their minds. And if your page isn't doing that, you will be leaving money on the table, because it's all part of the persuasion equation, if you like. Now, a really, really useful tool is Hotjar if you want to find out what your visitors are thinking and how they're interacting with your pages. Not only can you use it to look at heat maps to see where their attention's going or where their attention's not going that you want them to go. You can look at visitor session recordings as well, so you can see literally over their shoulder as they're surfing your website. But you can also trigger pop-up polls on your page, okay? So on this page you might say, as an exit poll, so as soon as someone moves back up towards the exit button or to close the browser, it triggers a little poll and says, hey, quick question before you leave. What was it that stopped you from buying today? Really simple question. And run that, gather at least 200 responses, and you'll find that you get massive insights as to what's missing on your page. It might be that people just, you've done something really stupid like copied and pasted the dimensions of your product straight from AliExpress, and it's all in metric, centimeters and millimeters, and your target market's the USA, who don't understand what that is because they're used to dealing in imperial, okay? So you might get a load of feedback from Hotjar saying, yeah, don't understand the sizing, couldn't change it from metric to imperial, so I left. Something like that. Or you might find that people are just saying, oh, your returns policy is too short. I can't get the product, check it out and return it to you within 7 days. It's just not feasible. So make sure you are gathering insights before you do anything, because if you start just getting a split testing tool and just thinking, all right, I'm just going to move this around and make this an orange font instead of black, you get absolutely nowhere, all right? They're what I call meek tweaks. You want to go for big, bold changes based on insights you've gathered from asking questions and analysing heat maps and visitor session recordings and all that good stuff. All right, so let me know how you get on, and I will talk to you soon.